Friday is here. Hello there. You're watching the polls on the JoyNews channel. Coming up this hour, President Akufo-Addo on a search for a new trade minister following the decision of Alan Kojo-Kyerematen to resign from office. The resignation of Alan paves way for him to contest as the next flag bearer of the new patriotic party. Here on the polls, we get reactions from the Council of Elders who are intervening. Plus, we'll speak to various groups within the new patriotic party. Meanwhile, the race within the opposition National Democratic Congress is heating up as the party is announcing plans for its reorganization process. Any individual seeking to run for office as the presidential candidate of the NDC must have a total of some 530,000 Ghana cedis at hand. But is this not too much on the high side? We'll assess that shortly, right here on the polls. Also this afternoon, we're looking at this. Dr. Eric Nkansa has been confirmed as the new Director General of the Ghana Education Service in spite of stiff opposition from some teacher unions. Stay with us as we assess implications for the education sector. And the new COVID-19 restrictions at the Kotoka International Airport is also kicking in today. Originating passengers from China will undergo some mandatory testing at no cost at all. The polls, as always, is brought to you by Global Communities Digni Lu, affordable, safe sanitation. Don't forget that we're on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144. I'm Blessed Sogah, and welcome to the polls. And you're welcome back to the polls. President Akufo-Addo is set to begin his search for a new minister for trade and industry. This comes after Trade and Industry Minister Alan John Kojo-Kyerematen told the president last night that he was leaving the job. Sources indicate that Alan's decision to resign is to allow him to concentrate on his presidential ambition. We'll be getting more on what's happening at the Jubilee House from our presidential correspondent shortly. But at this point, I want to bring in some party groups which are already reacting to this development. The Alliance of Foot Soldiers group, AFA, is already wading in, asking for to roll, and also for the president to use this opportunity to consider a reshuffle. Also, we hear from some other groups supporting the move by the Trades Minister. At this point, I want to bring in two gentlemen here on the polls. We have Kamal Amasama Bruni, who is spokesperson for AFA, the Alliance for Foot Soldiers, of a pro-NPP group, and we also do have Emmanuel Osei, who's one of the organizers of the recent Walk for Alan protest, which equally generated a lot of controversy within the party itself. I want to start off with you, Emmanuel, since you are known supporters of the Trade Minister Alan Kojo-Kyerematen. You late last year, as a group, staged a walk or a demonstration, if I could put it that way, piling pressure on this government appointee to begin the process to run for office. What's your take on the latest decision by Alan Kojo-Kyerematen to resign? Emmanuel, if you can hear me, I'm just asking what's informing this decision to mount pressure on Alan, and now that he's resigning, what's your take on that?
A very good afternoon to your viewers. It's a great news. It's a great news for the entire country. It's a great news for the NPP. It is a great news for anybody who mean well for the country. It's a great news in the sense that resignation has given us hope that most definitely is going to contest. And he contesting simply means that what he said some time ago is coming to pass, that he is going to make Ghana the China of Africa. So most definitely to the teeming youth of this country, it is a great news because he represents jobs for the people, cash for the people. We are jobless, majority of Ghanaian youth are unemployed, and that is what has given rise to vices like ritual killings, heightened armed robbery, heightened prostitution, and the likes. So if such a gentleman is owning himself up to come and contest and eventually win and become president of this country, it is a great news for Ghanaian youth. and by extension, the entire citizen.
Some say it's early in the day, knowing that this is the time the president needs him the most. Of course, he assured and has demonstrated that his support to the president all these years. Why now? At a time when, of course, your government is not popular given the economic downturn.
Interestingly, we the supporters had wished he resigned somewhere in March last year. That was when the economy began to face challenges. But he said he needs to stay on for some little while. So around June, a lot of our supporters started mounting pressure that he resign. He said, no. Now that things have become tough, we don't resign in a time like this. And that is the same time some other candidates or aspirants were campaigning. So the pressure became higher because we were like, hey, the vice president is campaigning, a number of them were campaigning. He said, no, we don't campaign when things become tough. What we do is we see to, sit and judge and think deep to see how best we can turn things around. So he assured us that by the close of year 2022, they are going to work hard.
Well, Emmanuel, just hold on for us briefly. This is where I want to bring in Kamal Bruniama, someone who's spokesperson for the Alliance for Foot Soldiers. Kamal, if you're with us, here's the case that, of course, you were asking the president to try and do some reshuffle, at least bring in new persons who would aid in the process of rejuvenating the party's chances going into the 2024 elections. Now we have one of the government appointees out. Would you say this is an opportune moment for the president to begin not just finding a replacement for Alan, but also doing some total reshuffle? If you can hear me, I'm just asking if there's an opportune moment for some reshuffle to take place. And you'd have to unmute for us.
Yeah, Bless, thank you for having me. I greet your listeners and viewers. For us, APA, it's a welcoming news for us that the Trade and Industry Minister has resigned, because in the press conference we did last year, July, these were some of the reasons why we stated that some of the people should be reshuffled or be given the sack. So if individuals have decided on their own to begin resigning, I think it's a welcoming news. So for APA, we commend Honorable Alan Chairman for taking this bold initiative, because we know many of them have this presidential ambition.
Come on, can you hear me? It appears we're having some challenges connecting to Kamal Amasaman Brony there, but of course he's with the Alliance of Foot Soldiers, indicating what the position of the group is with regard to this decision by Alan to leave office. We know that the elders of the party are beginning to intervene and to try and state their position on this matter. We'll get more on that shortly. But Kamal, if you're with me and you can hear me, you were making the point there about how some of them or some members of the NPP who are serving in government already are harboring some of these intentions of contesting as leading members of the party, especially when it comes to the presidential slot. So what's the expectation going forward from the others who haven't resigned but are still in government, as you believe? Kindly unmute. Yes, I can hear you now. I was just asking about the others. Yes. It appears we're having challenges connecting to Kamal and of course, yes. Kamal, we lost you briefly, the point you're making there.
I was saying earlier that we applaud Honorable Alan Chairman for showing the way by resigning on his own, because we were part of those calling that because of their presidential ambition, they will definitely be extracted from government business. Therefore, they should take the bold decision. And we know he's not the only person, but he's shown the way. So, on our side, we are most grateful for him to resign so that the government can be focused. Others should be brought on board, and then they will help the government steer the affairs. Because we all know the difficulties with which we are all in, and then we need people to be highly focused to support the government to make sure that this economic downturn that we are facing, we come out of it. Just as we've seen things stabilizing now, fuel prices going down, and then the exchange rate is also stabilizing. So we don't want any distraction again. He has shown the way. Others, we know, the Greek minister equally is also nursing that ambition. So we are calling on such people to look at what Honorable Alan Tramantin has done and then follow his footsteps. So it's a good call, and then it's a good step or initiative that he's taken. Alpha is most grateful to him.
But would that not open the floodgates to such a heated contest at such an early time when, of course, your government is struggling to deal with matters relating to the economy? I mean, the downturn and everything.
No, but he's there and he also has an ambition. And just as I told you, it's a distracting aspect. It's very distractive. So he's considered that, and he feels like, okay, I equally have my personal ambition. So once you are given the appointment on your own voluntary, you can equally resign. So I don't see what he's done wrong, though the government needs him now, but he also has his personal ambition. And just as we say, ambitions are made of external stuff. When you look at what Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar. So he's chosen his ambition over supporting the government. And we see nothing wrong with that because that he doesn't want to be part of the government and then he lose focus when the same government we are all supporting is facing some challenges. So he feels like, let me just step aside and let fresh hands come on board. So there's nothing wrong, absolutely.
And for the president, what are you expecting the president to do immediately? I'm just asking about the president. What's your expectation there in that regard?
For Alan resigning?
Yeah, the president. Your expectation from the president, because he has the appointing power.
Yes. Our expectation at AFA is that quickly a new person be brought on board to fill the vacuum because we have no time left for us to steer the affair of the country. So as quickly as possible, the chief appointer definitely knows that he can't leave such an important ministry to be lying follow like that. So definitely, I believe and I'm highly hopeful that Mr. President will definitely do the needful as quickly as possible.
Okay then, Kamal, just hold on for me briefly. I also want to bring in at this point former regional chairperson for the NPP in the Volta region. Is also one time former appointee of the Kufuor administration. Ken Wood Noah is joining us. Thank you, sir, for your time. So how is this coming to you, given that the trade minister is leaving office? If you can hear me, say, I'm just asking how this is coming to you, knowing that the trade minister has declared his intention to leave office. Can you hear me, sir? Well, let's connect with Emmanuel Osei. And Emmanuel, you've heard the submissions from Kamal Bruni there, indicating that the president should, as a matter of urgency, be looking at possibly a reshuffle and also weeding out persons who have presidential ambitions. What's the position of your group on that?
Hello.
Emmanuel, kindly unmute for me. Emmanuel, kindly unmute for me so I can hear you. Yes.
Right. I was saying I didn't get the last part of your question. So if you could come again.
I'm saying that Kamal has made the point about the president finding others who are nursing this ambition, presidential ambition within the party. I'm just asking what we should be doing in that regard, from the perspective of the president.
Well, with respect to Alan's resignation, I feel like you asked Kamal. I personally feel Alan, as a leader as he is, he might have trained people under him and around him, so the president can liaise with him to get a replacement, a better one for that matter, to fill the vacuum, so that whatever Alan could have done whilst there, the person can take it up. And with respect to those who are also nursing similar ambitions, it depends on their strategy going into this flag bearership context. So it will be difficult for anybody from anywhere to advise them. The vice president, we all know, has started campaigning already, so he doesn't need to resign. He has been able to structure perhaps his activities in such a way that he can get part of his time for the purpose of campaign. And the rest, I think, based on their strategy, they should know how to go about this. But with Alan, like if it has happened today, he fails as part of the strategy. In a time like this, he should resign. Having trained lots of people, like I said, under him and around him, to be able to take up the mantle should the president liaise with him in terms of getting somebody to replace him. I think it's a right call now, and it's a right decision now, and we welcome it wholeheartedly.
Okay, let's try
Just
one.
that, let me add.
Right, go ahead.
Let me add this. He has resigned, but officially, he is yet to let the Ghanaian people know that he's contested. And we want to play with him before the close of this month. He should kindly come out and let the whole Ghana know that he's contested. Resigning is not equal to contesting. Resigning is one part of it. And he coming openly and officially to let the Ghanaian people know that he's contesting is also another part. And that is what we are looking forward to seeing him do.
Okay, let's try one more time, Emmanuel, to bring in Kenwood North, one-time minister, deputy minister under the Kufuor administration, and a former regional chairperson of the New Patriotic Party in the Volta region. Thank you, sir. I was just asking how this news is coming to you, knowing that the trade minister is leaving office.
Yeah, for me, I'm not surprised particularly about the resignation, of Alan. And it's just the best thing to do to give himself, time, to prosecute his own campaign. He's one candidate who hasn't been visible in the last, few months that others have been going around. And his resignation also offers the president the opportunity, one, to replace him. Then also an opportunity for others to follow if they are truly interested and serious about running and they're in government. Alan's resignation has shown the way for all of them to do so. The last thing any one of them will expect is to be sacked by the president. That can affect their campaigns. So the wisest thing to do, the reasonable thing to do, is to resign before the president gives you the sack. The president hasn't been in the mood of reshuffling or changing his ministers. And I've said it time and again that they are all performing his satisfaction. So Alan's resignation might even come to him as a blow. But there is a stock of good materials that he can choose from for the replacement. But it is an opportunity for the president now to do some reshuffling and allow those who want to run to, leave the government, no matter how good or best they are, performing. In his estimation, there is nothing they can do. But once they're interested in this presidential thing, they have to resign, follow suit, and they should not wait till the president gives you a sack to affect your campaign.
How about concerns that the party is being divided at this moment but by this sole decision that Alan has taken?
So what is division about this? This is democracy. Democracy is about choice. And definitely every leader, every candidate will have some following. The most important, we have gone through this motion several times over. It's not the first time in the life of our party that we are going to go to primaries, presidential primaries. We went to primaries in 1992, went to primaries in 96, went to primaries in 1998. We always emerged stronger and united. Depends on the winner to unite the party around himself. And it is good we are doing it in good time before the general elections in 2024, so that we can have time to unite the party, heal wounds, patch some holes and move on. It has nothing to do with division. I can assure you that the presidential primaries is most likely going to regenerate, re-energize the party, generate a lot of activities as the candidates crisscross the country. They re-energize the party. They generate a lot of activity. The party becomes visible. That is what it means. As for the party enjoys such competition. It's like the World Cup. After all the various elections, internal elections that we have had, from constituency to regional to national elections, the presidential primaries is like the World Cup for our party. We are passionate about it. Okay? It has nothing to do with division. It is our tradition. That is what we have always done.
You are calling for a reshuffle. If that's what you're calling for, I mean, how should...
I'm not calling for a reshuffle.
Oh, okay, just to be clear on that point.
The president has not been in the mood to reshuffle.
Okay.
But the resignation of Alan from his government, the president said it time and again that Alan is one of those top performing ministers of peace and has never been in the mood to change any one of them. But if Alan has resigned to give himself time to prosecute his own campaign, then the president will have, because he has a pool of materials to pull from. However, you might look at all the rest who are interested in this matter, probably because they have touted their performance as good. That is why they will be reluctant to leave the government and they might dislocate his government. But he has nothing to do but to either quietly ask those people to leave his government for him to replace them in good time. And it is not good for him to sack any one of these people that he claims have all done well. It will affect their campaigns negatively. So it's not about reshuffle, it's for a replacement. I don't call it reshuffle. That would be replacement.
Right, replacement, as you're calling it. Can we just hold on for us? I want to bring in Kamal as well with the Alliance for Foot Soldiers. Kamal, so you've heard from the former regional chairperson of the NPP. He is of the opinion that, well, we may find a replacement. This is just democracy as it is. But the others are not willing to resign. At least we haven't heard from the Agric minister who's made his intentions clear.
Well, bless. Whether we like it or not, the Agric minister will surely also resign because if he wants to prosecute his campaign or he's still interested and he's still in the race, he has no choice. Even if it is next year, because per the party's constitution, at least 12 months to the general election, we have to go for the presidential primaries. So he's left with no choice. He can do it early or he waits late and then do it. So regardless of whatever, he will equally follow. But our first problem is that Mr. President should, as quickly as possible, as the year has started, sit down and look at all these things and do. Because if the Agric minister, you wait later part of the year, also resigns, though they may be doing on their personal ambition, but it may send wrong signal as though resignation is hitting your government. And, the opposition can equally take you to town and then go and skew the whole thing, as if your own people are maybe losing confidence in your government and the like. So, as quickly as possible, Alan's resignation should be a wake-up call for Mr. President to now take full control of it, decide whatever it's going to do, whether reshuffle or replacement or whatever. He needs to take the bull by the horn now. There's no time on his side based on what has happened now.
Let's hear from Emmanuel. Emmanuel, what's going to be the next move? You staged the walk with Alan in the Ashanti region. Now he's resigned. I'm just wondering what your group is up to next. And be mindful that you may face some sanctions as well because the party has issued their position on the matter. Emmanuel, kindly unmute so I can hear you. Well, let me wrap up with you, Kenwood. So going forward, what's your expectation from the party? The executives of the party have not spoken on the modalities for the presidential contest. We're expecting that, obviously, after this resignation, that would be the next natural order. What would you want leadership of the party to be considering now?
The rules are not going to change anyway, except that we are in government and we do not want our government, business of government to be disrupted, the ban on campaigning is still in place. The only thing the party is going to do is to lift the ban and come out with the modalities that will regulate, the conduct of the primaries. That is why we have the conventions are there. We have the rules and the convention. So it's just that we follow the calendar of our constitution, lift the ban, and publish the modalities. Then we are good to go.
But at the last meeting, of course, there are media reports that there were challenges even, settling on the dates for instance, the parliamentary contest, which is also heating up as well.
There hasn't been any controversy. Some people decided to publish false dates. The National Council of our party has not come out with any date yet. That much, we, the people who are members of the party, are aware. That the time will come, there's no controversy about it, except that people were preempting the National Executive Committee. The National Council, at the right time, will come out with the right date. And we have a constitutional calendar that says that when we are in government, this is the time to hold the primaries, and when we are in opposition, when to hold it. So we are clear about that, and we are not brought in any controversy at all about the date.
So what will be your message to grassroots of the party, those who are alarmed that this may, if not handled well, may affect the fortunes of the party going into the next elections?
Since 2007, 2008, where we had some 17 people contesting for our presidential primaries, we haven't had that, contest, since. And the upcoming contest is going to hold, a lot of activity, a lot of excitement for the party grassroots. They should be calm. They should play, there should be an open arm to all the candidates who will show up, because they are all potential candidates and potential presidents. We should all accept them and listen to them and see which one of them, present as a better and clearer vision going forward, and which one of them is capable of, breaking the edge, so-called, for us to continue, the good work that we are doing. Times are hard, though, but it's a global matter. We expect that in the fullness of time, things will ease out. Then all the good work that we have done in the past years will be rekindled. That will show, and people see that. But for the global challenges, this has been the best performing government, and we, the party people, must be proud of our work and trumpet it. Hello?
Fine. And I'm grateful that you've been able to join the conversation, Kenwood Norse, a former regional chair of the NPP. Kamal, your final words.
After we are very, very happy, because as part of the things we stated during our press conference last year, we are seeing some of them materialize. We called for reshuffle. Earlier, many people disagreed with us, only for us to have our MPs 3-4 months down the line after our press conference strongly joining the call for minister to be sacked. Now, I think Honorable Alan Chairman perhaps may have considered the press conference of APA, and then he decided to now work on it when we called that those who have presidential ambitions should resign, and then he's followed it. So we are grateful to him for paying heed to our press conference that we had last year. And when you look at the last time our General Secretary was on one of your media outlets, he himself was calling that some of the people themselves know they are not up to the billing and they should try to resign. So we are still standing by our call that Mr. President must conduct a reshuffle, undertake a reshuffle to stabilize his government, because what is beginning to unfold, it is not well managed from the president, from the government level and the party level. We may not be able to handle as a party. So that is the position of APA, that we are still standing by our earlier position for a reshuffle to be done. And those who are seeing wisdom in it and resigning now, we say, are equal to them.
I'm grateful for your time, Kamal Bruni, with the Alliance for Foot Soldiers there. Political scientist Dr. Asar Santi says news about the resignation of the Trades Minister, Alan Kojo Chirmanting, is one that is a welcoming one. We'll get to all of that shortly, but I want us to have this conversation. The Council of Elders for the New Patriotic Party have been intervening in this matter. Let's cross over live and bring you an interaction with Hackman Oswajiman. He is a member of the Council of Elders for the New Patriotic Party. He's joining us here on The Pulse. Thank you, sir, for joining us. So how is this festival coming to you as elders of the party, having received that news that Trade Minister Alan Kojo Chirmanting will no longer be in office? He's tendered his resignation. I can hear you, sir. I'm just asking how this news is coming to you.
Good afternoon. Oh.
If you can hear me, sir, I'm just asking how this news is coming to you.
Well, basically, if precedence is anything to go by, then I was not surprised, because I was expecting, as per our own rules of procedure or by what we've done in the past through President Kufuor, eventually some form of resignation was supposed to be taking place. So I am not surprised. I wasn't surprised at all. I suppose there must be a number 1, 2, 3, and thereafter. But the point that I have a little disagreement with is with my friend and former Chief of Staff, Mr. Kwejo Pieni. I think he did say that he didn't think, following the suggestion by Honorable Akumia and Honorable Atachia, that possibly there could be a look at alignment of interests, if you like, within the party, so that we can pair, say, Mr. Chirmanting and the Vice President or whatever you. Mr. Penim seemed to have said that, well, if you want to be president, then you don't really want to be vice president. But the point that I want to make is that we are a political party. Issues are decided collectively, and issues must be in the interest, when we are at the party level, at the interest of the party. So therefore, if it becomes necessary that there must be some kind of putting things together that will ensure our success at the next elections, then I don't think that you immediately write that one off at all. People will start, people will come in, people will go, but what we do is that eventually the National Executive, the National Council, will make decisions as to who our candidate is through the various modules that we have put in place and that we would follow. And I believe that a political party which is people of the same disposition and people who think alike and want to do things the same way should always put their mind together, their heads together, and then find out a way of doing it. And so it is, I want to disagree very sincerely with the former Chief of Staff that this cannot be done. No, it can be done. if it is the way to ensure our victory, and the party first, when we talk at the party level, of course the nation is number one, but when we come to the level of the party, our party first. And so anything that will help us to move forward, we move forward.
But I guess what you're doing now is to try and ensure that there is a party unity, but many would say that it's about democracy. Democracy allows that everyone can contest. And we do know that, and just as you're pointing to, looking at the history, this is one man who has been the forerunner, who has been in the race, who has attempted to run before, even against the incumbent president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo himself, who one time ran against Alan Kojo Kyerematen, asking him to move along with the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will be suicidal for the party, don't you think so? Because there are many supporters out there who have that opinion, that feeling that this is his time. He needs to share that with no man. He needs to be a man of his own and control or choose whoever it is that has to be the vice presidential candidate. What's your take on the fact that this is one man who has long since, held that ambition to become president?
Your technology has taken us by surprise. We don't seem to be getting the words through properly, so I am not with you on what your question.
I'm just asking if you feel that will be good for party unity, if indeed we allow Alan to run alongside the vice president.
Well, if I have understood you properly, or if I got it well, because as I said, there's some difficulty in the communication. But if you are asking whether it will be in our interest to have Kyerematen and the vice president, or to pair themselves together, or vice versa, whatever it is, I think that will be the way to go. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to fall over ourselves in selecting who becomes the primus, if you like, inter pares in the party, because the national chairman, obviously, is the head of the party. But we don't lose that. So it is very important that we get the two most popular people within the party, or even three, and then let's see how we work it out. I think that as a political party, our job is to ensure that we are able to work together as people who are of the same stables, and for that matter, they think alike. And so I have no problem at all with that. In fact, if I were to be asked, I would say that ideally, if you can get the vice president and my own brother Kyerematen, my own brother Bawumia, Kyerematen together, it would be fantastic. But this business of going through motions of selection and what have you, yes, we are a democratic party, but we are a democratic party with a purpose. And the purpose is to win the election at the national level in 2024. And I have been in politics for over 60 years, and I cannot think that putting the competing interests together would anyway be a disadvantage. If anything at all, to be the greatest advantage that we have. And we have to talk, and I think we have talked. We have the party machinery, we have the elders, we have the executives, we have the National Council, and we must talk and see how best we can do it. And if we can avoid this, we are not disenfranchising anybody, no. We don't want to do that. But what we want to do is to make sure we are working together, and so we are able to have a team that will be able to do it. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I beg to disagree with the former chief of staff that if you want to be president, then you cannot be, you don't want to be vice president. No, you should be able to do that. One thing that President Kufuor told me when he was swearing me in as foreign minister, he said, Kwame, try and work with everybody that is given to you in your ministry as Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. We are all the same people, and it's not an individual's preference that we are working at. It's a collective preference, collective interest, collective preference of the party, not an individual. So if you put an individual's, if you like, preferences ahead of the party preferences, it becomes a bit of a problem. It's problematic. So I want to agree with Honorable Akumia and Atachia that if we can get the two together, that would be fantastic. And that's what we seek to do, so that we can continue the work that is to be done, and that we shall be working together to achieve success. And after all, that's what we want to do. There's no political party who comes up and says, well, I want to lose. No, you want to win, and we want to win, and whatever takes us, whatever combinations of interest that we have to put together to win, that's what we must do. And that is what is for me, that's what is logical. And so for now, I don't think we should prejudge any issue or preempt any issue at all. Interests have been shown, accepted, will be accepted. I was expecting it in the line. As I said, we're going by precedence. Others will come. And then at the end of the day, we have to put our heads together and see how best we can sort of choreograph. We can choreograph the whole system to the extent that it becomes advantageous to our party. Why not?
To be a party that is democratic enough, why not allow the contest to run? At least in the end, democracy will be the victor. Why are you not allowing that contest to happen? What's the greatest fear? What fear do you have as a member of the Council of Elders, looking at how acrimonious sometimes some of these contests can get?
I think there's a basic misunderstanding in this country of what democracy is about. Democracy is giving everybody a choice. And that we are not going to impose or superimpose any way of doing things on anybody. So you have your chance. If you want to run, you run. If you don't want to run, if we talk and we believe we get a consensus, we get an understanding, we move forward. And so democracy does not mean that we should always be at each other and competing with each other, spending resources. Democracy does not mean that. It means you do not disenfranchise me. It means you do not take away from me my right as a citizen or as a member of the party. And so democratic, yes, we'll be democratic. And what I'm suggesting is that the party has machinery. Those of us who started this party know where we are coming from. We know where our roots are, and we know what to say, what to do, so that at the end of the day, my dear sir, we would be together as one team. And that's important, rather than sort of fragmentize into fragments, sections, and whatever you and the rest, and be at each other, and then with all the campaign and its difficulties that we sort of encounter in the field. So I don't think we are not being undemocratic. No, it's very democratic. We are going to appeal. If there's an appeal, we are going to put on paper what we think will be the advantages of A and B together, or C and D together, or whatever together, and we do that. And that is not in any way taking away anybody's democratic issue that has been given to it by the Constitution and by the mere fact we are also Ghanaians.
Some say you could have averted this. You're a member of the Council of Elders. Have you spoken to the President about this? Have you tried to speak to the President, to speak to the Vice President, and to speak to Alan himself, just to achieve what it is that you're calling for? Many say you've not been able to secure that as members of the Council of, Elders for the NPP.
I'm afraid, my dear sir, the line is not very clear. What did you? May you please repeat what you said?
And I'll repeat that again. I'm just asking about the meetings between yourself and the President. Why didn't you ask the President, as Council of Elders, to intervene, at least to try and get Alan and the Vice President on the same page?
I haven't mentioned any meeting with the President. I haven't mentioned any meeting with the President. Maybe the line did not come through. I said that what's important that the various organs of the party would have to get together and see how best we can put things together. In fact, I use the word choreographed. We can put things together which will which will inure to the benefit of the party. I have never mentioned the fact that the Council of Elders have met with the President. This is the first time it's coming. What I said that I was also expecting this letter to start coming in. If precedence is anything to go by, that's what I said, sir.
Asking why you haven't arranged a meeting with the President on this matter. I'm asking why you have not arranged that meeting, just to try and get both sides, Alan and...
You are asking why we have not?
Yes, precisely. That's my question.
Oh, I see. Now you are asking why we haven't done that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think that at this level we can put on table everything that we have done? When the sword is out of its sheath, out of its scabbard, it's no longer threatening. So whatever we have done or we are doing, it's not for me or for us to put it in the public domain. No, we are a party. We are from the same stables, and we work together so that we get to think that would, as I said, inure to the benefit of the party. So why we haven't done that? Well, in the fullness of time, if we believe we have to do something, it will be done. But quite obviously, we don't go to meetings or we don't discuss issues or we don't sort of lie and then be able to tell them we have done A, B, C, D. No. Why, if you are suggesting that to us, well, you are at liberty to suggest that. But we know what we are doing. We've been in this party since 92, over 30 years, so we know how we organize ourselves.
Okay, but there is governance at stake now.
Yes, sir.
There are calls for a reshuffle, at least just to keep up the momentum, because how you deliver as a government will definitely affect your fortunes in the 2024 elections. What do you advise the President do now, at least now that the Trades Ministry is vacant? Some say this is an opportune moment for the President to do a reshuffle.
The President is a very experienced politician, and if he believes that reshuffling is the best way to go, he will do it. On the other hand, if he believes that he can have another way of doing it, well, he will also do that. At the end of the day, we trust the political sagacity of the President, and he will do the right thing at the right time. And so I cannot say that he must reshuffle or not reshuffle. He knows the President is very astute, and he has a team of advisors at all levels. And so at the appropriate time, the President will do what is necessary and what will make this party stay together, work together, and win the elections in 2024.
And very finally, sir, your grassroots, you would have to keep them together. What message are you sending across to the grassroots of the party who may be divided at this moment over the resignation of Alan Chermating?
Well, so far, no instructions have gone out because we have not, consultations keep taking place and no instructions have gone out. But when and if we do, our constitution is absolutely clear. Once instructions have come from the highest level, in other words, at this point in time, from the National Council, which is the next highest body after the National Conference, then we would expect our members to be disciplined enough to follow what the decision of the National Council is. as far as I'm concerned, for now, there has been no regulations or so issued out by the National Council or the National Executive for that matter. And so we would like to hope that when the time comes, when the decision is made, people will follow. That is why I keep saying we belong to the same tables. We don't have a situation where some are more equal than others. No, everybody has got one vote, and we are all equal. So we would vote and we will see what to do, but eventually the ultimate prize, the ultimate aim of our endeavors, of our work, would be the acceptance by the majority of Ghanaians that our party should continue. And that's what we are working at. And so breaking the 8 becomes one of the targets that we have ahead of us. And so I don't think that our members would in any way be incited to go against the grain of the thinking of the majority of the party. What the majority thinks we should do is what we'll do. And that way, to use your favorite phrase, we do not disenfranchise, we do not take away the democratic credentials of anybody. Everything will be done democratically, and will then eventually, hopefully, arrive at a consensus building. Whether we join the 2 or 3 or whatever, and the rest, we'll do that. In the past, we have always had elections. We have always selected one person, and that person has received the massive support of the whole party. If that is the way we want to go this year, we will also do the same. But what I'm saying, my objection was to rule out the possibility of, say, a joint ticket between the vice president and Chirematin, or Chirematin and the vice president. So that's what it is. But I want to that all options, all offers are on the table. All options are on the table, and no option is ruled out as yet. All options are on the table, and that's what I'm saying. And that's what I want to underscore. All options are on the table.
You cannot break the 8. Very finally, what's your take on that?
Say that again.
I'm talking about breaking the 8.
Can you say that again?
Some
I
of
didn't
the
quite
opinion
get it.
that you cannot break the 8.
You are saying, or you are telling me?
I'm asking you, sir.
we seek to, as a party, we must have an aim. And the aim is to win 2024. And once you do that, that is tantamount to breaking the 8. And what you are saying is, I'm sorry, but I cannot agree with you. What we are saying is what we are doing. We are going to try and work as hard as possible and put things in order as much far as possible so we can win 2024. And if we win 2024, we would have broken the 8. So it's not as if breaking 8 becomes a sacred cow or something that we cannot do. It's doable. It's doable. It all depends on us and our ability to work together closely as one team, to support each other, to have a symbiotic kind of relationship with ourselves, so that at the end of the day, we do not pull each other down. This pull each other down in African politics is what normally creates problems. We are going to be a solid team together, working together to achieve the ultimate of winning the elections in 2024. And thus, we will do everything that we will do as we have done in the past, and more, to make sure that we win the elections in 2024.
Well, Hackman Oswajiman, I'm grateful that you've been able to join us here on The Pulse. And political scientist Dr. Asara says the news about the resignation of Alan Kojo Chirematin is in the right direction.
First of all, we have said time and again, even though I acknowledge that there's a political conversation about political debate as to whether competence and loyalty is the key. But I still I still stand firm to my position that it is competence. Because you can have somebody who is 100% loyal to you, but he can be the best incompetent person you can think of. And is that the person that you want? Because every government wants results. So whoever you put into your team as a part of the body of ministers, you want that person to come and perform. So the president will want to consider competence, followed by the person must be a team player. Somebody is competent, but if he's not a team player, because remember that part of the provision of the Constitution, I don't have it on top of my head, says that you are going to team up with your sector minister, but this one is the minister himself. So you need competence. You need also a team player, that he must also be prepared to work with the team that he has in the ministry, the chief director and everybody and other, so that you don't superimpose your will on them. It is true that as a minister, you owe it a duty to yourself and your government that you champion the agenda of government, but you need to also consult and confer with your team players. 3, you need also loyalty. Yes, somebody who is loyal to the president, so that the president can trust and confide a lot of things in, so that you and the president will share in the vision of the president. Apart from that, you should also be somebody who has your own vision, and that you want it to be brought to bear on what you are doing to further the agenda of government. And then you must also rise above reproach, somebody who has a very clean record and all that, and you want to maintain same at all times, so that you don't bring the government office into disrepute. That kind of thing. These are some of the ingredients you need. But I believe that once the seat becomes vacant, the president will work the mathematics and come out with somebody who is worth the salt to be able to step into Mr. Alan Chamersin's shoes and deliver what is expected of government.
And now to the education front. The Acting Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Eric Nkansa, has been confirmed as the Substantive Director General of the service. A letter issued on January 4 and signed by the Director of Human Resources at GES, Frimpoma Nkansa, has instructed all regional directors of the GES that all official correspondence and memoranda should therefore be addressed as such. Dr. Eric Nkansa's appointment was opposed by some teacher unions who argued that he is not a teacher, and the government should reverse the appointment. Some, at some point, in fact, threatened a strike action if the government failed to reverse the appointment. But it's a good time now to speak to Yao Opoku Mensah, who's spokesperson for the Ghana Education Service. Dr. Peter Ante is also with the Institute for Education Studies. Let me start off with you, Doc. So the appointment has been confirmed. There are many who are asking what the implications would be for the education sector, knowing that some teacher unions had raised some issues.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I think that for the challenges that the unions had at this stage, I feel that they should let it go, and then we all have a single objective to see the progress of the education sector. So I sincerely believe that the single objective of all of us, teachers, stakeholders, should be how to be able to push the agenda of Ghana education forward and ensure that our kids get the needed kind of education that they deserve.
But then for his appointment as well, we've heard very little of him as to what he brings on board. But you are in the field. What do you see coming, knowing that, I mean, there's someone who's worked also at the ministerial level?
Well, I believe that he's worked with the ministry, so he understands policy issues, and now he's coming to GES, which is basically designed for implementation of the policies from the ministry. So technically, from my professional perspective, I see somebody who have looked at the policies, or who have worked under policy issues, and now coming to a place where he is going to implement. There is a linkage between policy formulation and policy implementation. So if you understand the policy, you understand the rationale for the policy, if you understand the reason behind the design of certain policies, then it becomes easy for you to also lead the implementation of those policies. So I think that he should be able to push forward the various policies that have been put in place by the ministry. And of course, GES is a bigger institution, and they have a lot of things that they are doing. With that experience from the ministry, with his understanding of the policy issues from the ministry and the direction of education being guided by the ministry, I think that he will be able to lead the implementation of whatever it is that it has been put on the plate, and ensure that it is fully embarked on. But of course, he should open his ears, listen more, and also he should also understand that for you to function effectively under implementation, you need to have an appreciation of what data and research that is going on within your agency. So I believe that one of the things that he should be doing, maybe you go there, but if I can continue, one of the things that he should be doing is to strengthen the research base of the Ghana Education Service. Because you are monitoring implementation, you always have to be on the ground. You always have to know what is going on so that you'll be able to tilt or tweak whatever it is that you are doing to meet the target set for that particular policy. So he should always be on the ground and ensure that the right things are being implemented as designed in the policy space.
So let's get a sense of what's happening even at GES now, knowing that his appointment has been confirmed. Mr. Pukuman said thank you for joining us as well. So do we know if the GES boss has taken officially resumed work, now working in a new capacity as the substantive GES boss?
Let me say good evening to yourself and to my senior colleague on the other end. Dr. Nkansa started work immediately the appointment came in November, and he is still at post. And it will interest you to know that when we're even going for the festive season, we only took the holidays without giving a break off. So it tells the kind of person that we are dealing with, and it tells the kind of person who is running the pre-tertiary space within the Ministry of Education. So he is at post as we speak. He was at post yesterday. We just participated in a series of workshops for girls' education in Kumasi, and he left for Accra to continue the other engagement in the office. So he's working, and whoever will want to visit the outfit of the Ghana Education Service will meet the Director General himself.
But then what do we make of the stiff opposition from civil society groups and some teacher unions? Has that been resolved? Because if that's not out of the way, many believe that will affect the quality of education or even affect the sector as a whole. If you can hear me, I'm asking that have you dealt with the concerns by the teacher unions? Some who say he's not a teacher.
If I got your question.
Yes, go ahead.
There was a breakup. Society organizations are actually believe that whatever issue that comes up within that space becomes a welcoming news where we do have all stakeholders contributing in terms of discussion and shaping the direction of the implementation of any policy that we engage in. It's a good thing that we do have our civil society organizations pay their nose into the activities of the Ghana Education Service. It tells we should perform, and the greater job security is performance, and that is what Dr. Eric Nkansa is noted for. And we again must understand that ability without dependability becomes a liability to you, because you can't carry it alone. You need all to rally support behind you. Dr. Eric Nkansa has been in the classroom for over 14 years. Over 14 years experience in the classroom. Again, bringing that same experience at the ministry level, at the tertiary space, contributing to policy formulation plus its implementation, since he was the director tertiary and the technical advisor to the minister. And it will interest you to know that he wasn't only occupied with tertiary issues, he was again dealing with pre-tertiary issues. And within that space, because he has been part of the formulation of the policy, he becomes the best hand and the capable mind to man the affairs of the country.
And so let's make some progress here by wrapping up this conversation. For you, Dr. Anti, what should be the way forward, and what will be your expectation in terms of the priority? Because mind you, the free senior high school policy is also at stake here. So what would you want to see as the priority of the newly confirmed post?
Well, I first of all, I would want him to reach out to the teacher unions and whatever issue that is that is there, he should try to reach out to them. I sincerely believe that we all have the same objective, and if he's able to reach out to them, this issue should be put at the back space. And again, he should be guided by the challenges that characterize his nomination and his appointment, and make sure that he does not disappoint those who have entrusted this particular position to him. I wish that he looks at the various challenges that the teacher front is facing in terms of promotion and all those issues about payment, delay in payment, and all those things. He should prioritize that. You should also look at the challenges that has characterized the senior high school, especially when it comes to the issue of feeding. And then my most biggest point to him is that he should open his ears and listen.
All right.
There's a lot of advice and directions that will be coming. He should be receptive to them, whether it's good for him or not. And then as the noise continues to come, he picks the gold nuggets from it and use it to build Ghana education for the betterment of our own children.
And I'm grateful that you've been able to join us, Dr. Peter Anti, with IFEST. Also, you heard from Yao Pokumenza, who speaks for the Ghana Education Service. And now to security, the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana Immigration Service have jointly dismissed reports about the arrest of some 48 nationals alleged to be terrorists. There were media reports over the past 48 hours that both state security institutions are in the blame game over the whereabouts of some terrorists who were arrested in September last year. But the Police Service and the Ghana Immigration Service have denied the claims. I want to bring in Richard Kumado, who's a fraud and security consultant. Thank you, sir, for your time here on the Pulse. The blame game has been denied by the police service, and in fact, they go ahead to deny the arrest. But what do you make of the media reports, first of all? What intelligence do you have on that? And what can you say about the denial coming through from the security agencies?
I think there's some high level of miscommunication going on, and these are people supposed to be terrorists, and not knowing the whereabouts of these terrorists who pose some public safety concerns. And I don't think the media publication was without some level of checks. What is important is that whether they have been deported or they have been re-arrested, immigration has a major role to play. And we should be speaking to the immigration service more than the Ghana Police Service, who doesn't seem to know anything about this issue.
And I'm just wondering what implications this has for Homeland Security.
Definitely your sovereignty is under threat. Definitely you have public safety concerns. Definitely you have people, ineptitude of people who are frontliners, who are supposed to know better and ensure that if these are suspected terrorists or people we suspect to be carrying out activities that is detrimental to our national sovereignty, we shouldn't be letting them go. So this is a major concern, and I think all the big boys and girls in national security will need to stretch their legs a little bit more. And if we have missed them, we will need to find them and let the right things be done.
And then what we see as well is that in a unique fashion, you have the police service and the immigration service providing a joint statement. What was that meant to achieve, really?
No, I think it's they are fighting for cover. It's a damage control, and somebody is hiding the fact, and somebody doesn't want to take the blame game. Because in security, mostly you will need to act with an authority. and you will need to take instruction from somebody. So it's important to find out who instructed who, under which authority were they operating, right from the time when these guys were arrested to the time when they were disposed. So I think the blame game is time to blow hot air into the eye while they go behind the scenes to do what is right. I'm only encouraging them to ensure that the right thing is done. Because if these guys are terrorists, as they claim to be, then they pose some high level of challenge and public safety concerns will be raised.
And I'm grateful that you've been able to join us. That's
Thank you.
Richard Kumado, fraud and security consultant. Plastics, as we know them, have become headache for the country to deal with. Everywhere you turn, there are plastics lying around you. The plastic bottle, for example, has become a major problem in this country. But why are people opting for plastic bottles? JoyNews' Samuel Kojo explores alternatives that can help save our environment, prevent flooding, and also address the economic cost of poor environmental practices for our Hotline documentary. Here are assets.
The plastic is very simple. Very simple to take it everywhere. You can use it to travel safe. But the glass, you cannot use the glass to travel.
James, a trader at Adabaka, telling me his preference between plastic and glass bottles. He tells me plastic bottles are safe for him than glass bottles.
The plastic is good. You see, the plastic, two people cannot use the plastic. Only one person can use the plastic and throw it away. But the glass, you use it, they take it back and go and fill it again. So it will give an infection to people, you understand? But the plastic, you can even throw it away.
David, an entrepreneur, shares this reasoning of the plastic bottle being healthier than the glass bottle.
I like plastic because of the health issue attached to the plastic. The advice given to us on the radio, so it has gone into our mind that preferably plastic is better. If you handle plastic bottle, it can just fall down and then everything's scattered. But for plastic, you can take it back.
But it is not everybody that shares this reasoning. Sam is a regular patron at the popular restaurant in the capital city, Accra. He says, with his knowledge of the negative health implications of plastic bottles, he prefers glass bottles.
When it comes to the way we dispose of plastic waste, we don't separate it from the other waste materials. So recycling it becomes a problem, and you go through a lot of cycles to separate them, and cost-wise it's high. So comparing the two, I think bottle will do.
Surprisingly, I came across more people who are alert to the health impact of plastic bottles and are therefore choosing glass bottles.
The main reason why I prefer the glass bottles is that whenever you buy, let's take it for instance, with soda, Coke, and mineral and other stuffs, where they are ready to take the breakable bottles from you. But when it comes to the plastic, when you buy Coke plastic, you take it along, and if there is no substitute for keeping it to a safe, you realize that they will put it in a gutter, they will put it on the floor, and it becomes dead. You understand? So when it comes to the bottle aspect and the plastic aspect, I think I will support I like the bottle aspect.
Our penchant for everything plastic, including water, is giving the country a huge headache in terms of managing it. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, plastic pollution is a global problem. Approximately 7 billion of the 9.2 billion tons of plastic produced from 1950 to 2017 became plastic waste, ending up in landfills or dumped. So what do researchers say? Professor William Gordon, a professor at the Environmental Studies at the University of Ghana, says research has shown that people ingest plastic particles from drinking water in a plastic bottle.
Recent study looked at bottled water in about 9 different countries. And they looked at around 260 samples. And they found that there was an average of about 325 pieces of microplastic per liter. So if you drink just one bottle of water, the 500 mils, that means in a year you will ingest about 50,000 particles. Now the particles are of different sizes and they have different impacts. So they range from the size of a human hair to the size of a red blood cell in your blood, the one you have to use a microscope to see. And if you have something around the size of 20 microns, a micron is, let's say, 1,000th of a millimeter. So it's very, very small. It can actually pass through your blood vessels into your organs. So it will end up in your liver, it will end up in your kidney, and if you don't excrete through the urine, it will accumulate in your body.
And be on the lookout for our latest Hotline documentary, Plastic Garbage. It's coming your way here on the JoyNews channel. But it's time now to talk about the biggest esports experience, which brings video gamers, industry leaders, gaming communities, hubs, clubs, brands, retailers and stakeholders together. Well, it is 1 week of video gaming, exhibitions, demos, seminars, workshops and socialization as well. There will be demos of the latest gadgets and trends in video gaming industry from top brands and personalities. So let's talk about that. Joining us now is Amitogo Maximus, and he's an event manager. Kwesi Hayford is president of the Esports Association Ghana. Maximus and Kwesi, welcome to our studios. We play the games indoors, but why are you taking it out now, Maximus?
So we are bringing entertainment to the social space to build a community around it so that it's no longer you being in your house or playing with your brother or sister or your cousin, but we want to bring all the community together. So that's why we are created the Accra Esports Week to bring people from different homes and locations together.
Interesting. Kwesi, are you a gamer yourself?
Yes. I always describe myself first and foremost as a gamer before other things. So this is an opportunity to also bring into the fore the commercial values or the commercial space of esports to the Ghanaian public.
Okay, Maximus, if someone asks about esports gaming, how do you explain the concept to someone who's new to this?
Yeah, so the esports is electronic sports.
Okay.
So the virtual versions of the traditional sports. So the footballs, the hockey, the golf, boxing, racing, and all the other bouquet of games. Now you are playing it on a computer or a console, a mobile phone, or a tablet. So that's the virtual version of what we are used to. Right. There's also a worry and draft, what we call checkers and things, also part of the games that we play. So that is esports, and it's now competitive. So just even FIFA, they've introduced the
electronic aspects of that,
club version of the same football that we play.
Oh, so it's becoming a big industry.
It's big. Yeah. So we are now knowing it in Ghana because we have over 20 clubs in Ghana who have been verified by even FIFA to play the club series.
Yes.
Kwesi, tell us about that as well. How big is it in Ghana? Because this is new to some of us.
Well, it's that big in the sense that we have a lot of gamers. As in, the age category cuts from 17 to let's say 45. That's a wide range, and we have not friends. As I said, we have teams that are really verified in the FIFA E-Nations Cup, and these teams are registered business entities. That's the most important one. And they have team managers and team coaches. and they signed contracts with these teams. So that tells.
So this is professional. It's looking
yes,
professional. I don't know if I should be calling
of
it that
video
way.
games.
Right.
In fact, in other terms, when you describe esports, they say professional, competitive play of video games.
Right. Yes.
So it's not just people playing gutter to gutter, but professionally done.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's big.
Yeah, it's big.
Yes.
But how are we positioning ourselves as a nation, as Ghana, just to take advantage of that?
Yeah, I think we have done our part. So the likes of Kwesi and myself, we've pounded a lot of lonely path, in that particular space. And for us, we are happy that government is even forming a Ghana Esports Federation, which will be launched.
Oh, that's in the pipeline as well.
Yeah. No, in fact, it's out of the pipeline. So it's within the space very soon. So they're also our event partner. And then we have the Esports Association, which Kwesi is the president. And we are members of two international, Global Esports Federation and International Esports Association.
That's amazing.
As well. In fact, I think we are part of 4 countries in the world to have those 2 inductions. Right. So it's quite exciting. And it's big, and this is why we want to consolidate it.
It's looking really promising. But let's talk about this very event that's about to happen. Kwesi, what are some of the competitions that we're going to be on the look for?
Okay, so we have 12 games over 6 days. And within that, we have, let me just mention some of the games that we have. We have FIFA, we have eFootball. And one of the key aspects I want to really push is girls in gaming.
Oh, you're encouraging girls as well?
Yes, because we want the space to be really, really rigid with also female involvement. And apart from that, we're also creating the value chain for them to enter. So Girls in Gaming is on Wednesday. Yes. And that is also, then we have PUBG, we have Call of Duty. So every single game you think about, we have in a day. Some of the games are competitive, some of the games are exhibition matches, and some also are side attractions. But once you find yourself to be in the space, even if you didn't register to compete, you will have some other games that you can play in.
Okay, you're talking too much about just the games. What other activities are you carrying out just to encourage more support for the industry?
So we're doing some workshops and seminars, so some thought leaders in the space will be sharing their expertise and experiences. And we're fortunate to have the cream of esports also, being part of the thought leaders who will be sharing their thoughts on the industry, where Africa should take their chances, and why Ghana must also drive the whole esports ecosystem in Africa. We want to position Accra as the esports hub in Africa, so that's why we are coming.
But I'm just wondering, are you doing this all alone, all by yourselves, or do you have partners, people supporting this as well?
Yeah, of course, we have multimedia, right? So giving us the scale, we have other partners. So Esports Association of Ghana, the Global Ghana Esports Federation. We have Play Province, we have Esports Academy, Pop Out, Letty Art.
A lot of people on board.
Ghana Gamers Association, Otium Gaming, and then we have Motherland Gaming too as well. So it's a whole community that we have put together, and usually we want to make a case. So we want to do the maiden edition, then the next one will be the bigger one. So because we organize other esports events
as well.
We have
so what would be at stake, Kwesi, this time round in terms of the prizes that you'd be giving away? Because obviously, I don't want to be playing for free.
$20,000. 20,000 cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
20,000.
You should have made it dollars. 20,000.
We'll get there.
20,000 cedis for now. So it means you have to go all the way to the top to be the winner. So it's
first, second, third.
Oh.
First, second, third.
Okay. So there's something for the first 3.
Yes.
So 20 cedis each.
No.
So how are you doing that?
So that's we have 8 competitions, 12 games. Right. So the 12 games, we have first, second, third, like that. So we share the pot prices amongst them.
Yeah.
Will this be a one-off, or you have plans of rolling this out and there are more activities coming up?
This we say this is our, let's say, New Year's crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I need to join this.
and that's the beauty of the thing. Accra Esports is not only for gamers. It's for also those who want to come and know more. Once you get into the grounds, there are people that can really school you on everything on esports. So it's the mother of all esports events, opening the year. Then after that, you will roll out all the activities for the year as well. But this is the pivot of esports in Ghana. It's the biggest as in the number of games being played. Right. It's the biggest as in the number of players even involved in playing. It's the biggest also because of the number of workforce.
They'll be supporting this.
Because exactly as it is, we are doing a production, TV media production for the event, which will be live streamed. So we have cameramen, everything. And that is huge.
This is big.
Yes.
But how are you open to all age categories? Do you have a limit? Say, okay, if you're beyond 40, this is child's play. We don't want you here. How are you doing it? How are you going about the age?
The age band is not. So you have to be 18 years above to play some of the games, and then we have the teens also playing as
their league as well.
Yeah. So we have, and then the women, the girls in gaming too. So there's no age restriction.
Okay, so depending on where you find yourself, then you'll be giving a league to play. Give us the streaming details. You say this will be public, this will be open as well. Can people come over and watch? Will you be streaming? Where will you be streaming?
Okay, so we're streaming at the Accra Esports week on all the social media. That's but basically on Facebook and then also on YouTube.
You have a page, particularly for that.
There is a page for that, and our website as well. So that is, follow us on our handles, Accra Esports Week on all social media.
But can people walk in and just observe some of the?
That's what we want. Walk in and come and experience it, because esports is participatory experience. When you are there is something you will feel that you say, yes. I mean, I used to play at home. I used to play for fun, but now I can make money out of it. And that is the kind of communication we want to send, that esports is a pivot for youth development. Where people think that, I mean, we hear of armed robbery and stuff like that. It's because the young people don't have anything doing. But we found a way to craft esports to make people work. The young people work.
And once you're at that, there's this danger of addiction, gambling, and some irresponsible activities to that. How are you checking that as well, Max?
Yeah, so we are really against the whole idea of betting
on the
space. Yes, so it's no gambling. If betting is somebody's industry and business, but we don't encourage our players to do that. So no gambling. We have an health expert who will also be speaking on why you should not go to the extent of addiction. Of course, anything that you love, if you don't take time, you'll be addicted to it, right? So it happens whether alcohol, a cigarette or whatever, you can be addicted to even your phone and social media.
Okay, so you're creating a special session for that. What will happen? What will happen?
So there's like an e-health summit where the expert Dr. Malita Moore, so he will be speaking on that issue. So how you should take care of your health, and we'll be streaming on the Mahjong online too.
A lot of people can get. I mean, so many places to get that on offer. But let's talk about those who are viewing us now, viewers, those who want to be a part of the exercise. How do they get to register? Do you have fan clubs? How do we go about that, Chrissy?
Yes, I mean, our social media is
okay. So that's the first point. Yes, but how about people who want to get interactive? Join you, support you. What options? What options are
so AccraEsports.com. If you want to call us, 0244 767 801. 0244 767 801. It comes to me, and then if you need to speak to the president or
you say, and there's Mr. President, I'm here.
There's a WhatsApp detail on the website. So when you click on the button, you can send a WhatsApp message directly to us.
Directly to you. But we didn't give out the 2 locations because you were indicating that you'd be much more
we have multiple locations for the event. And the first is the Esports Academy at Hacho. You can Google it.
So that's the first spot.
And that is our primary location for the event. Then we have a satellite locations. The second satellite location is at Otium Game Hub at East Legon. That will happen on Tuesday.
East Legon. It looks like you're just towards one side of Accra. Why not spread it out? I mean, come to this side of town at least.
Then we have one more online satellite location, which is purposely for online games. That will be Motherland Gaming, which is located around the East airport area.
Right. But Maximus, no cost to this at all. You just need to register and be a part of it.
Yeah, so registration is free. So just participate and then.
Yeah. And then we have the surprises, a lot of surprises and giveaways through the streams.
Yeah,
so you just have to, even if you're on grounds, watch the stream.
I want to come there and come for my thing. I don't want any virtual.
The good thing is that if you're watching on the stream and you pick the prices there. And then,
right. So you pick it up. Anyway, it's really exciting. Any final message to our viewers?
So we are very grateful to Multimedia for partnering with us to scale this particular initiative. And I'm sure the next time you hear of Accra Esports, it's going to be all over the city, all the 4 corners of the city, and we are going to make it bigger and better with a bigger pot price. Anybody want to support, you can contact us.
Indeed.
Well, I want to see that the Esports Association is an association of different kinds of gaming and esports, and every business can be part of us. So we want you to come to us. Our website, go to www.ghanaesports.com, register to become a member and help us to grow the esports industry.
I'm really positive about the industry, and I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next week.
Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday.
Oh, Monday is even a holiday, so it's a good time to start off anyway. But that's where we draw the curtains here on the polls. I am Blessed Sogah. Log on to myjoyonline.com. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.